Hey guys, Andrew here. Sorry I can't be with you guys today. Things have ramped up at work and we're short on employees, so I'm having to work open to close on Tuesdays. But I did want to bring a message to you today. I hope that impacts you. The story comes from 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 16 through 28. Kind of the theme for this little Devo is called Burden for What's Best for the Team. Are you burdened for what's best for the team? So the story goes like this. One day, two women came to King Solomon, and one of them said, "Your Majesty, this woman I live in the same house. Not long ago, my baby was born at home, and 3 days later, her baby was born. Nobody else was there with us. One night, while we were all asleep, she rolled over on her baby, and he died. Then, while I was still asleep, she got up and took my son out of my bed. She put him in her bed, and then she put her dead baby next to me. In the morning, when I got up to feed my son, I saw that he was dead. But when I looked at him in the light, I realized he wasn't my son." "No," the other woman shouted. "He was your son. My baby is alive." "The dead baby is yours," the first woman yelled. "Mine is alive." They argued back and forth in front of Solomon until finally said, "Both of you say this live baby is yours. Someone bring me a sword." A sword was brought, and Solomon ordered, "Cut the baby in half. That way each of you have part of him." A little crazy. "Please don't kill my son," the baby's mother screamed. "Your Majesty, I love him very much, but give him to her. Just don't kill him." The other woman shouted, "Go ahead and cut him in half, then neither of us will have the baby." Solomon said, "Don't kill the baby." Then he pointed to the first woman. "She is the real mother. Give the baby to her." And everyone in Israel was amazed when they heard how Solomon had made his decision. They realized that God had given him wisdom to judge fairly. So today I'm going to talk to you about camaraderie, and you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with this crazy girl fight that went on in that story? But I'll get back to it. A mark of a championship team is a culture of camaraderie. Mark of a championship team is a culture of camaraderie. That word camaraderie, this is what it's defined as. It's explained by what exists between soldiers that have experienced the crucible of combat together. I'm going to do it one more time. Camaraderie is best explained by that which exists between soldiers that have experienced the crucible of combat together. Huge. It's a game changer. And there's three characteristics of a championship team that's marked by a culture of camaraderie. The first one is control. You know how to keep everybody level-headed. You know, if someone goes a little too far on the field, instead of losing your cool, you know how to keep each other level-headed. You have each other's backs. Another is you know how to have fun, but more importantly, you know when to have fun. You know, between pregame and warm-ups and practice, there's a time and place for everything. And a mark of a solid team is you know when to joke and when not to joke. You know when to be serious and when to be more laid back. You just know the difference. So there's control. The second is character. It's all about character. It's about what you're doing when no one's looking. You know, this is the classroom. This is, outside of school, under free time. But it's also, as far as a team, is, you're not grumbling behind each other's backs. You're not dogging other players on your team, your teammates. You replace gossip with confrontation. If you had an issue with someone, be a man and go talk to them. Don't talk about them. That's the really mark of a culture of camaraderie is you replace gossip with confrontation. You have honest conversations. You're not a coward. You lean into it and do what you need to do. And you get drama out of the way. And last with that is you don't cut corners. You don't cut corners, man. I remember when we would warm up in high school, you'd have to do a lap around the field, and you'd always have someone who'd cut corners. They just, that really made that big of a difference. Like, how lazy can you really be? But it's all kinds of things. It's cutting corners, like cheating. It's cutting corners, by just doing things that are, going back to the character, just not right. You just don't cut corners. You do things the right way. Things are set up for a reason. And lastly, you're not self-centered. Control, character, and no self-centeredness has to be existent for there to be a culture of camaraderie. The idea of a big team, little me. Big team, little me. This is what it really comes down to. You think, this woman in that story, she didn't want her baby to be killed. Now, obviously, she was there because she wanted to have the baby, and grow up in her home, but she was willing to let the other woman have the baby for the sake of the baby living. She was willing to sacrifice for the greater good. And that's what it comes down to, guys. You got to be willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Are you burdened for what's best for the team or what's best for you? So lastly, I want to leave you with just a quick little verse from Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. It says, "Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take interest in others too. So I hope today, you'll realize how important selflessness is. And I have this quote I just want to share with you in closing. And I'm going to read it slow, also because I'm sick. Anyways, selfishness. Selfishness is a poison in a person that will spread wherever they go and whoever they work with. Selfishness is a poison that exists in a person that will spread wherever they go and whoever they work with. However, selflessness is like a perfume that only sweetens situations and creates camaraderie. Selfishness is a poison in a person that will spread wherever they go and whoever they work with. However, selflessness is like a perfume that only sweetens situations and creates camaraderie. So today, guys, I hope you go out there and thank Big Team Little Me. Go out there, get a win, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday.